Do you know what Calgary's fastest growing racket sport is? It's pickleball. Basically, it's as if tennis and ping pong had a baby. So you play with a paddle, but it's bigger than a ping pong paddle, and you have a wiffle ball. Now, the wiffle ball is important because it has holes in it, so it slows the ball down because you're only playing on half the size of a tennis court. So when you play, your paddle meets the ball and it kind of makes this pop. So there is some contention around the sport because in neighborhoods playing outside, people do complain of this popping noise. The other thing as well too is that people want to play tennis, and since you're taking up half a tennis court, you know, there's some contention around there too. How do you have both sports playing on the same court at the same time? Now, pickleball is typically associated with senior citizens playing the sport. And I have to tell you, a lot of the senior citizens that play pickleball have actually played racket sports their entire lives and have retired into pickleball. So their hand-eye coordination and their technical skills are very, very good. So they will definitely put people to the test. A lot of other sports are actually crossovering into pickleball so that they can also work on that hand-eye coordination and that skill set. And the number one is pro tennis, obviously, going into pickleball. So tennis tends to use a lot of core strength, and pickleball will be a lot of really fast, quick reflexes. So baseball MLB players are actually getting into pickleball more now so that they have kind of like that depth perception, that eye coordination, and then those quick reflexes with their hands. So this is definitely an up-and-coming sport, but it doesn't mean that it's not without its contentions for sure. Now, like I said, there are a lot of senior citizens in the sports. Nationals have just happened in Red Deer, and if you look at the data set, it's pretty much between 55 and 65 playing, and there's one lonely 25-year-old there, so we're rooting for her, I suppose. And but with that comes a generation, so a generation gap per se. So you definitely have to learn how to play with these people, play the sport with these people. And so you're meeting people from all different kinds of walks of life. I mean, the networking is amazing, but it also will test you in a certain way. There are a lot of senior citizens, like I said, who have played sports their entire lives, and a lot of them are even retiring from even a coaching perspective. And so when that happens and they want to coach you on the court, it's really difficult because the coaching that had happened in their lifetime, we definitely do not see that type of coaching happening now. Or, you basically want more of a positive feel or when you're playing the sport versus being talked to, and it's well, I'm going to make the same mistake 20 times until I think to myself, this is how I should change it. When somebody keeps explaining something to you, it's really not going to jive until you understand how your feet and your hands and your hand-eye coordination are working. So that is kind of another contentious item that you do have to kind of challenge yourself with when entering the sport. It is inexpensive. The paddles can range. I mean, I know people who have found them at secondhand stores, but I mean, they can range from say $20 to hundreds of dollars. That's kind of how sports can go sometimes with equipment. So basically, all you need is a paddle, but I would recommend court shoes. So the courts are really hard, whether it's outdoor hard courts or whether it's inside a gym. You want kind of a court shoe for both, because running shoes are only meant to go forward and back, not really the lateral, the side to side. So that in itself can kind of get more expensive. And so it's, a little bit contentious that way when you say, oh, it's an inexpensive sport, but it can cost some more money. You can get a pickleball membership. So Calgary Pickleball Club is $25, and that's a membership for the year. And basically they just keep you up to date on which courts. They actually have permits. So because you are taking up half a tennis court, so there's permits that you can actually have with the club that is allocated play to pickleball players. So that time is permitted to the pickleball players outside. And typically it happens early in the morning or later in the day, just because it gets really hot, especially in the summertime. So Calgary Pickleball Club, Also enters you into the Alberta Provincial Club automatically with your $25 membership. And here at Mount Royal University, for intramurals, there's actually an intramural for pickleball as well. However, there's really not a lot of young people coming. It's in associating with the Calgary Pickleball Club. Again, it's a lot of seniors coming, but I gotta tell you, when you play a sport where there's a lot of people in a different generation, they will challenge you, but it will also be a networking opportunity. These are people that have like led careers. They might be retired, or they might be just, or still in their careers. A lot of people work shift work as well. So especially with the shift work, you'll be meeting people that are firefighters, pilots, nurses, a lot of teachers in the summertime. And then you have people who are entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, people who own multiple companies, and meeting people that are merchandisers from Asia, a CEO of a bank, lawyers. There's lots of really cool networking opportunities that can happen with that, and we're really fortunate that with Mount Royal University, they're actually bringing pickleball intramurals to the university, and typically the play happens in the evening, so like say after 6, 2 days a week, and then on Sunday mornings. And so you can either sign up by yourself, or they will give you a partner, or you can bring a partner as well, and then you can play with your partner all year long. So that's another thing too. It really teaches you this perception, this how your body awareness on the court and stuff. And it's a great way to get the exercise in, because I know that we can get really involved in our studies and we actually don't make that time. We don't make that time for networking. We don't make that time for ourselves. And this is an excellent sport in where you can actually facilitate all of those things into one. So get your sweat on, get your conversation on, and yeah, I really hope that this sport is recognized more, that young people can come in, bring your parents, bring your grandparents, and have that time together. Like I said, it's fairly inexpensive, and I really hope that I can see more people at pickleball, either outdoor on the courts or at MRU intramurals.